Hey guys, before talking Bible, I want to let you know about Atheist Comedy Burrito. It's a Facebook group and it's a fun place to hang out. I should know, I run the group. We post memes, we post articles, it's pretty great. Alright, so let's get to the biblical craziness. Today, we're ending the book of Genesis. It's been a crazy ride with sex slaves and talking snakes. To finish the first book in the Old Testament, I'm reading through count them, three chapters, 48, 49, and 50. These three chapters we say goodbye to two major characters, Jacob, otherwise known as the notorious Israel, and Joseph. Here we go. Manasseh and Ephraim. Sometime later, Joseph was told, "Your father is ill." So he took his two sons, Manasseh and Ephraim, along with him. When Jacob was told, "Your son Joseph has come to you," Israel rallied his strength and sat up in bed, all alert and shit. Jacob said to Joseph, "God Almighty appeared to me at Luz, in the land of Canaan, and there he blessed me, and he said to me, I am going to make you fruitful and increase your numbers. I will make you a community of peoples, and I will give you this land as an everlasting possession to your descendants after you. Now then, your two sons born to you in Egypt, before I came to you here, will be reckoned as mine. Ephraim and Manasseh will be mine, just as Reuben and Simeon are mine. Any children born to you after them will be yours. In the territory they inherit, they will be reckoned under the names of your brothers. As I was returning from Padan, to my sorrow, Rachel died in the land of Canaan, while we were still on the way, a little distance from Ephrath. So I buried her there beside the road to Ephrath, that is Bethlehem. Jacob wasn't a great guy. Maybe it was a shallow pit. I don't know. Was it a shallow grave? I don't know. When Israel saw the sons of Joseph, he asked, "Who are these?" "These are the sons God has given me here," Joseph said to his father. Then Israel said, "Bring them to me so I may bless them." So Israel has adopted them effectively in terms of giving them stuff after he's dead. And here comes the blessings. Now Israel's eyes were falling because of old age, and he could hardly see. So Joseph brought his sons close to him, and his father kissed them and embraced them. Israel said to Joseph, "I never expected to see your face again, and now God has allowed me to see your children too." Then Joseph removed them from Israel's knees and bowed down with his face on the ground. And Joseph took both of them, Ephraim on his right, towards Israel's left hand, and Manasseh on his left, towards Israel's right hand, and brought them close to him. But here's a twist. Israel reached out his right hand and put it on Ephraim's head, though he was younger. And crossing his arms, he put his left hand on Manasseh's head, even though Manasseh was firstborn. You see, the right hand goes to the firstborn son. The left hand goes to the left. Typically, that's how it goes. Then he blessed Joseph and said, "May the God before whom my fathers Abraham and Isaac walked faithfully, the God who has been my shepherd all my life to this day, the angel who has delivered me from all harm, may he bless these boys. May he be called my name and by the names of my fathers, Abraham and Isaac, and may they increase greatly on the earth." When Joseph saw his father placing his right hand on Ephraim's head, he was displeased. So he took hold of his father's hand to move it from Ephraim's head to Manasseh's head. Joseph said to him, "No, my father, this is the firstborn. Put your right hand on his head." But his father refused and said, "I know, my son, I know. He too will become a people, and he too will become great. Nevertheless, his younger brother will be greater than he, and his descendants will become a group, a gaggle, a swarm of nations. He blessed them that day and said, "In your name will Israel pronounce this blessing. May God make you like Ephraim and Manasseh." So he put Ephraim ahead of Manasseh. Then Israel said to Joseph, "I am about to die, but God will be with you and take you back to the land of your fathers, and to you I will give one more ridge of land than to your brothers, the ridge I took from those dirty, filthy Amorites." All right, it didn't say that. "With my sword and my bow." We know what the Bible means. Jacob blesses his sons. Then Jacob called for his sons and said, "Gather around so I can tell you what will happen to you in the days that come. Assemble and listen, sons of Jacob. Listen to your father Israel." Now, a lot of this is going to be the airing of grievances. It's going to be something like, "I had a beef with you years ago, and on my deathbed, I'm going to let you know I never let it go, and I never forgave you." And it's going to really affect your future. And that's what I call godly. "Reuben, you are my firstborn, my might, the first sign of my strength, excelling in honor, excelling in power." Here it comes. Years ago, Reuben slept with Israel's concubine. Israel didn't like that. "Turbulent as the waters, you will no longer excel." Well, that's never excel. "For you went up into your father's bed, onto my couch, and defiled it." You like that? "Simeon and Levi are brothers. Their swords are weapons of violence. Let me not enter their council. Let me not join their assembly. For they have killed men in their anger and hamstrung oxen as they pleased. Cursed be their faces so fierce and their fury so cruel. I will scatter them in Jacob and disperse them in Israel." Simeon and Levi killed all the men in, I think it was Shechem, because their sister got raped there. They just murdered everyone. That happened a gaggle of chapters ago. Mind you, Levi's tribe will be somewhat redeemed because they were able to follow orders in the book of Exodus and thus become the priests of the Jewish nation. Let's get back. "Judah, your brothers will praise you. Your hand will be on the neck of your enemies. Your father's sons will bow down to you. You are a lion's cub, Judah. You return from the prey, my son, like a lion. He crouches and lies down like a lioness. Who dares to rouse him? The scepter will not depart from Judah, nor the ruler's staff from between his feet, until he to whom it belongs shall come, and obedience of the nation shall be his. He will tether his donkey to a vine, his colt to the choicest branch. He will wash his garments in wine, his robes in the blood of grapes." Christians believe this is a foreshadowing of Jesus. "His eyes will be darker than wine, his teeth whiter than milk." "Zebulun will live by the seashore and become a haven for ships. His border will extend towards Sidon. Issachar, he's a raw-boned donkey." That's what it says. He's a raw-boned donkey, lying down among the sheep pens. When he sees how good is his resting place and how pleasant is his land, he will bend his shoulder to the burden and submit to forced labor. That sounds good. "Dan will provide justice for his people as one of the tribes of Israel. Dan will be a snake by the roadside, a viper along the path that bites the horse's heels, so that the rider tumbles backward. I look for your deliverance, Lord. Gad will be attacked by a band of raiders, but he will attack them. At their heels, Asher's food will be rich." Asher sounds like a good deal. He's got a good deal there. "He will provide delicacies fit for a king. Naphtali is a doe set free that bears beautiful fawns. Joseph is a fruitful vine near a spring, whose branches climb over a wall. With bitterness Archers attacked him. They shot at him with hostility, but his bow remained steady. His strong arms stayed limber because of the hand of the mighty one of Jacob, because of the shepherd, the rock of Israel, not Dwayne Johnson, the rock of Israel. Because of your father's God who helps you, because of the Almighty who blesses you, and blesses of the skies, with the blessings of the skies above, blessings of the deep springs below, blessings of the breast and of the womb. Your father's blessings are greater than the blessings of the ancient mountains, than the bounty of the age-old hills. Let all these rest on the head of Joseph, on the brow of the prince among his brothers. A lot of brothers. Benjamin is a ravenous wolf. In the morning he devours the prey. In the evening he divides the plunder. All these are the 12 tribes of Israel, and this is what their father said to them when he blessed them, giving each the blessing appropriate to him. Uh-oh, here it comes, the death of Jacob. Then he gave these instructions: I am about to be gathered to my people. Bury me with my fathers in the cave, in the field of Ephron the Hittite, the cave in the field of Machpelah, near Mamre in Canaan, where Abraham bought along with the field as a burial place from Ephron the Hittite. There Abraham and his wife Sarah were buried. There Isaac and his wife Rebekah were buried. And there I buried Leah. The field and the cave in it were bought from the Hittites. I don't know if you heard that. There was this bolt of lightning out there. When Jacob had finished giving instructions to his sons, he drew his feet up into the bed, breathed his last, and gathered to his people. This is the last chapter of Genesis coming up. I'm so freaking excited. Joseph threw himself on his father and wept over him and kissed him. Then Joseph directed his physicians in his service to embalm his father Israel. So the physicians embalmed him, taking a full 40 days. For that was the time required for embalming, and the Egyptians mourned for him 70 days. 70 days of mourning. When the days of mourning had passed, Joseph said to Pharaoh's court, If I have found favor in your eyes, speak to Pharaoh for me. Tell him, my father made me swear an oath and said, I am about to die. Bury me in the tomb I dug for myself in the land of Canaan. Let me go up and bury my father. Then I will return. Pharaoh said, Go up and bury your father, as he made you swear to do. I guess Joseph's still officially a slave, though a very high-ranking slave. Of course, everyone in Egypt at this time is pretty much a slave. Let's go back. Okay, so Joseph went to bury his father. All Pharaoh's officials accompanied him, the dignitaries of his court, and all the dignitaries of Egypt, besides all the members of Joseph's household and his brothers and those belonging to his father's household. Only their children and the flocks and the herds were left in Goshen. Chariots and horsemen also went up with him. It was a very large company. You know, not everyone in Egypt was a slave at that point. The Egyptian priests, they were not. Well, you know that from the last video. When they reached the threshing floor of Atad, near the Jordan, they lamented loudly and bitterly. And there Joseph observed a 7-day period of mourning for his father. When the Canaanites who lived there saw the mourning at the threshing floor of Atad, or Atad, I don't know, they said, the Egyptians are holding a solemn ceremony of mourning. That is why that place near the Jordan is called Abel Mizraim. So Jacob's sons did as he had commanded them. They carried him to the land of Canaan and buried him in the cave in the field of Machpelah near Mamre, where Abraham had bought along with the field as a burial place from Ephron the Hittite. The Bible likes repeating itself. It said that, about this burial place like 3 times. After burying his father, Joseph returned to Egypt together with his brothers and all the others who had gone with him to bury his father. Joseph reassures his brother. That's the title of the next section here. When Joseph's brothers saw that their father was dead, they said, What if Joseph holds a grudge against us and pays us back for all the wrongs we did to him? they sent word to Joseph saying, "Your father left these instructions before he died. This is what you are to say to Joseph. I ask you to forgive your brothers the sins and the wrongs they committed in treating you so badly. Now please forgive the sins of the servants of God, of your father." When their message came to him, Joseph wept. His brothers then came and threw themselves down before him. "We are your slaves," they said. But Joseph said to him, I already know that. No, he didn't say that. Joseph said to them, "Don't be afraid. Am I in the place of God? You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. So then don't be afraid. I will provide for you and your children." And he reassured them and spoke kindly to them. The death of Joseph. Bum, bum, bum. Joseph stayed in Egypt along with all his father's family. He lived 110 years and saw the third generation of Ephraim's children. Also, the children of Machir, son of Manasseh, were placed at birth on Joseph's knees. And then Joseph said to his brothers, "I am about to die, but God will surely come to your aid and take you out of this land to the land he promised an oath to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob." And Joseph made the Israelites swear an oath, and said, "God will surely come to your aid, and then you must carry my bones up from this place." Joseph doesn't want to be buried in Egypt, or final resting place in Egypt. So Joseph died at the age of 110. That's believable. And they embalmed him. He was placed in a coffin in Egypt. You know, people didn't live to be 110 back then. You know, unless you were a mutant, like Wolverine. If Wolverine was alive, he'd live to be 110 or more. There we are. I just wanted to remind you, we're closing Genesis with Pharaoh being head slave master over Egypt. You'll have to check out the previous video on Genesis 46 and 47 to understand how that mass enslavement happened, thanks to Joseph, by the way. And in a not so subtle way, that sets us up for boom, 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 the book of Exodus. All excitement. I'm psyched about sharing Exodus with you guys. We get to see drop frogs on people. And I've heard rumors that he's going to kill a whole bunch of kids. You know, it's amazing that people worship Yahweh, worship God. I don't know. It seems like crazy. Hey, please like the video and subscribe. Thanks. I'll see you in Exodus.